Hey, Katie girl. Looking cute with your summer cut. Oh, my irises are all blooming. So pretty. Hey, can you grab those?
Can I say thank you to Miss Christie?
Yeah, say thank you to her.
Thanks, Miss Christie.
Our friend Miss Christie, the bread lady as the boys call her, sent Ben some spider plants. Hey y'all, I've been out here working. I decided to take a break, go grab something to drink, and get my camera to bring you guys out to the garden with me. I've been on a kick with mint and lemon balm tea because all that mint and lemon balm that took over in my cottage garden. When life gives you lemon, make lemonade. And when mint and lemon balm takes over your cottage garden, make mint and lemon balm tea. I showed how to make this, as well as several other herb recipes. I mean, I don't even know if I would call them recipes. I showed some very simple ways to use herbs. Are really good over on the Farmer's Table. I made a pretty extensive video going through multiple different things. So it's been really warm the last few days, and it's going to continue to be warm, I guess, pretty much from now on out. I will say the warmth has caused so much beautiful growth out here. It's actually time to start hardening off my tomato plants. So when plants have been in a controlled environment for the entirety of their growth, like in a greenhouse, they can't quite handle the full strength of the sun. So we harden them off, which is just slowly introduce them to the full strength of the sun, rather than just taking them from inside, putting them directly outside. It only takes a few days to do it. You can kind of cheat a little bit. Like if you have a couple of overcast days, you may get away with planting them out, but it is a risk. And a lot of times if you go ahead and put them out, they'll get sunburned and damaged and they'll pop back from it. But when you've spent so much time starting your stuff from seed, I just do the due diligence and err on the side of caution and just take 3 evenings. It's like, I don't know, it's like 4:30 or something like that right now. So I bring them out around 4:30 to 5, set them out here in the I usually just leave them out overnight because it's above freezing, and in the morning I will put them back in for the morning and the early afternoon, and then I'll bring them back out tomorrow evening. I do that for like 3 days and then plant them out. My hope is to get all these tomatoes planted out obviously within like the next week. So this order just came in. These are some different berry bushes. We're doing some moving around, so I'm gonna kind of tell you what our plan is in this video, and then I'm gonna show you us actually enacting that plan as we shoot that this week. I did like a shallow till over this area in front of the beds. This is gonna be fenced. It's going to be a fence that runs like an L shape and goes back this way. The reason why it's not tilled here is because Maya was out of town. He took the boys out of town this weekend. They went and did like a dad weekend. And I had a lovely weekend at home. I was by myself. It was glorious. I did a lot of cooking, just like recipe experimenting and testing. And I worked in the garden a ton. Like camera off, audiobook in, or just complete silence. It was restorative. I'm gonna sit here and drink this and tell y'all about this, because if I go walking around, 20 minutes from now I'll be wondering why I feel so thirsty and my ice will be melted. I thought I broke the tiller. I'm still a little bit shy operating the machinery and the equipment. It's not something I have had a lot of experience with prior to like moving to this property and learning how to do things more. And so Maya is the one who knows how to run everything. Like he does all that stuff. And so I was a little bit nervous to like get in the tractor and start working while I'm here by myself, just completely honest. But I'd called Maya and he's like, hey, you can totally do it. You can't mess this up. I was like, don't say that. Do not say that to me. Famous last words, don't say that. And he's like, Jess, seriously, like you're completely fine. You know what you're doing. you got it, girl. Like, go till your garden. So I got out there, I tilled the potato patch, I was feeling good. I was like, well, I'll go ahead and do like a real shallow till over here where we're gonna be doing this next project. And I got almost done with it. And all of a sudden, you know, I know something has gone wrong. So I pull the tractor over, turn everything off, and I get up looking underneath there, and I can see that there's a belt like tangled up in there. And I'm like, oh no. So I sent him a picture, and I was like, I messed it up. You know, like I did it. I messed it up. I managed to break it. And he was like, well, that's not how that tiller works. That's not that tiller's belt. He was like, so just leave it if you're almost done. He was gonna be home the next day. He's like, I'll fix it. And sure enough, it was just like an old belt that was buried out here. And this property used to be cattle, that people raise cattle on for like 30 years. So we occasionally, when we are tilling or mowing or bush hogging, we will end up picking up, you know, detritus from the years of farming before us. Anyway, the tiller's fine. I did not actually end up breaking it. I'm gonna go share my tea with mine. Sup, Sowards?
Sup? Oh, is this your special drink?
Are you refreshed?
I'm so refreshed.
So the reason I was tilling this area is this L-shaped area is going to be where my little fancy chickens are going to be. And I am going to sow it with some wildflowers so that by the time we build it in here, that stuff will be coming up for them. And then beyond this, we've kind of tossed around several different ideas of what we're going to do right here. That's my asparagus back here, and Maya's about to like build a raised bed around it. And then we're also going to be putting in perennial stuff here, like berries. I'm moving some of the berries. We had set up the space down on the other end of the garden. And I'm actually converting that over just to some more trees there. So I do have like fig trees down there. I've got a pomegranate tree, but I'm going to put in some more like mini fruit trees down there and move the berries that are in those little horseshoes into this area. I'm just finding that like I've got raspberries scattered throughout there, blueberries, blackberries, and I'm just finding that like with the blueberries, they want much more acidic soil, and having that like 3 here, 3 there, them all spaced out, it's just harder to give them what they need. So I'm going to consolidate it a bit. Plus that area, I don't want to have to fence it, and this we're going to fence all of this. So my idea was to do the kind of another mini orchard down there, and it won't be fenced, but in the berry areas I'd like to keep that in a more contained space. So that's what this middle is going to be. This is a very shallow till, and the main reason I did it was just to knock down a lot of the weeds that were here, because we're going to just do not raised beds, but we're just going to do like a single board so that I can heavily mulch underneath the berries, and then we can easily weed eat around them. So it's kind of more like a border, and we'll rake this up, fill a little bit more. I'll show y'all exactly what we're doing when we get down to doing it. And then here is the area where I'm going to do my potatoes. I'll probably do a little bit of sweet potatoes here, corn, some okra, and pumpkins. Like, that will just do better in an in-ground situation. I've got this bale of hay because that's what I'm going to mulch with. Mulching with hay is kind of, it's not without its faults. Hay has seeds in it, and so if you mulch with hay, obviously you're putting grass seeds in your garden, and they are going to sprout, and you're going to have to pull them out, or else they'll root deeply and grow. But I have not been able to find straw. Straw is my preference, especially for doing potatoes. I just like to put the potatoes down and heap straw up on top of them and add to it. Kind of like a modified Ruth Stout method. She would never tilled anything ahead of time, and I do. And while I prefer straw, because straw is the byproduct of the production of certain like grains. It's like the shaft of the plant. And while it can have some seeds in it, it doesn't have a ton of seeds in it. Like hay is the whole plant, so it has the seed head in it. Oftentimes, not all the time. Sometimes, you know, some hay has more than others. Oh wow, I need to tell the kids to come out here. I'm seeing lots of red in the strawberries. Ben and I were out here day before yesterday and there wasn't hardly anything here. I can see probably like 20 from where I'm standing. But I've yet to find a source for straw here that I can be sure isn't sprayed. After experiencing herbicide damage a few years ago that just completely wiped out all the tomato plants and the pepper plants I had started from seed, I've just gotten really cautious about that. And so I would rather deal with the annoyance of having to pull the grass out of hay mulch than deal with the devastation of potentially having that damage again. And I don't even know. I don't know how prevalent it is for straw, you know, crops that produce straw to be sprayed in the first place. Maybe straw is one of those things you don't have to be as concerned about, but I'm not 100% sure, and I haven't been able to find like a really clear answer on that. And so I'm just erring on the side of caution. Plus we have the hay. We did not go through as much hay over the winter this year as we prepared for, and so I've already got it. That's why that's sitting there getting ready for me to plant potatoes. This little section of the garden is so pretty right now. In this tunnel, I've got my curly kale. The celery, I don't know how well it's going to do. I just transplanted the celery in. I put it on this side of this tunnel, which gets the most shade of anywhere in my garden because it's under the 50% shade cloth. It's kind of in the middle here between the two. It stays a little cooler. As you can see, I've got the majority of the cooler weather crops that I'm trying to produce like right here because I figured it'd have the best chance. I've got some dill here. My hope was to have at least some dill still going when my cucumbers came on, because dill is typically something that just does better when it's cooler. So by the time I'm getting a lot of cucumbers, I have to use dry dill in my pickles. Here I've got some spinach, the celery, these cabbages, which I am cheering on with all my heart, hoping that they will head before they go to seed. It's looking good. It's looking hopeful. They've got these cute little cabbage heads. These are snap peas. They look good. A little more celery. I just put some cucumbers on this trellis right here a few days ago. They haven't come up yet. This is Tronchuta kale. It's a type of kale. And then these are collard greens. And I just think this little area looks so pretty, don't you? I do have some more carrots here. And these are artichokes. I was hoping maybe by having them in the tunnel, they would come up a little bit later. But I've also got some out here. Oh, man. I told the kids I would tell them. They were a little betrayed when they learned that there had been a handful of strawberries ready a day for the last week or so. They're like, where'd they go, Mom? I said, gardeners get the first ones. And they were like, what? Those should have been out there, dudes. I told them I'd let them know. Oh yeah, look here. My first little baby artichoke. We'll give that a little more time, but I'll probably be eating that later this week. We're gonna have to watch these. Not so the mom doesn't get them and eat them first, but so that the birds don't. One more. They're getting sweeter. Here I've got some little beets I transplanted. I planted out just a few days ago. I've been trying to make sure I water them every day until they can get roots down a little deeper. And then some of these kales in the back look really puny. That's because I had some volunteers that I just dug up and moved over here. I probably wouldn't have planted kale this size out this late. This is Ragged Jack kale is the variety. There's a bigger one. That one was actually growing right there. They may be a little late transplanting them, moving them. Probably going to knock them back a little bit, but I figured it wouldn't hurt to try. It's worth giving them this little space just to see, and if we get to eat some of this kale before the pests get too bad and it gets too hot for it, then it will have paid off. So this is a big work week for the garden. When we moved here. We're coming up on the 4-year anniversary of the first time we came here. Actually, hold on. That's not right. It is this week we're currently in, was when we came here 4 years ago for the first time. It's when I saw this property for the first time. Maya had come out in December of 2020 and seen it and put the offer in and made the purchase, and then brought me and the kids back out in April to see it. And then it was, I think it was April 27th was the... Sorry, I saw a cool bird. Was the day that we made the announcement that we were moving here. Actually, I'll link that video if you've never seen it. If you came to us like after we'd been in South Carolina, it's really cool because it is our property literally before we had ever done anything to it at all. It was my first week ever like knowing this land. And now it's our home, it's our farm, it feeds us in so many ways, sustains us. It's how we make our living, you know, through content. I feel so massively thankful for this farm because, I mean, it just gives us so much. But when we moved here, you know, we made our plan based on the experience we had. We had been homesteading for about 8 years at that point. But there was so much we just didn't know yet. And we thought we were making like such a solid plan based on experience. And a lot of the things we did right. Like we laid a lot of our water lines, you know, like we started with a lot of the basic infrastructure, like perimeter fences. You know, we built our barn, which I would not change a thing about our barn. But like we didn't have cattle at that point. We'd never had cattle. And like we fenced in this small pond and put our trees around it, which is great, except for the fact that that would be a really great thing to give our cattle access to. So that's kind of part of our reasoning behind starting that mini orchard, is we're thinking about reworking the fences here to be able to have a gate that we can give access to the pond for the cows, but then have another fence put up where they can't get to all our fruit trees. Stuff like that we just didn't know. And at that time, I had such a big vision for teaching gardening that, you know, we made this massive garden, which is awesome. But I've really just I still love teaching gardening. I still love being able to do that. I still want to be able to open our home and have workshops and stuff like that. And I believe that the day will come we have the infrastructure to do that. But I don't like being overwhelmed by the garden, and that's why we're kind of shifting. Whereas this whole middle section used to be potatoes and sweet potatoes and all that stuff. We've cut that back a lot. I used to have a really big in-ground garden over here. We've taken that out. And frankly, I'm just trying to focus more on stewarding the smaller spaces, the high tunnels in the raised bed garden, this small in-ground garden. That is enough space for me to grow all of my family's vegetable needs. Even with growing unusual things, that's enough space. And that's really where we're shifting focus to. So that's what these changes are, like moving the perennials up here. I've talked about that in the past. I have had that idea. We're just kind of returning to it. And honestly, we're just kind of trying to optimize everything for the sake of sustainability, like giving the cattle access to the pond. We learned real quick during Hurricane Helene that if we did not have backup power to keep our well operating, the cattle needing water was going to be one of the biggest issues. So we have a pond. That's when we were like, no, why didn't we do that? But you live and learn. We're always learning, we're always growing, and we can always just, you know, change plans. Y'all hear the killdeer all fussing? They were here first, but now every year that I put a garden in the ground here, they lay their nests in it and have their babies in it and scream at me the whole time I try to work in my garden. The fence we're talking about doing is, it's going to fence in the raised bed garden, and then the chicken coop there will be fenced in, and then this perennial garden will be fenced in. And then this, we're not going to put a permanent fence around. I do occasionally have deer here. They're not too bad. But since I leave the tunnels open and this, what we've decided to do is that we could put electric fence around here as it's necessary if we're having like pest issues with rabbits or deer. But so far it's not been so bad, but we didn't want to build anything permanent here because obviously this is the one area where I'll continue to till. I don't till any of the other stuff. This won't be continue to be till. I just did that here at the beginning to get these established and plant the wildflowers. But this in-ground area where we do potatoes and stuff, since it's already being disturbed by them, this is where we will continue to actually till. I've got some seeds in my pocket I'm gonna plant. They're nice and sweaty. Gross garden life though. And then I'm gonna run inside. My goal this week in working so hard in the garden is that by the end of the week, once we get these things knocked off the list, I could shoot a garden tour this weekend for you guys. That was my hope, to be able to take you through, because though there's a lot of stuff that hasn't come up yet, there's definitely a lot to see. And I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get those garden tours back up. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I bless you. Until next time.